Last year, the horror genre was blessed with epic new originals, including Barbarian Smile and X. These original horror flicks have either spawned franchises or thrusted new directors into the space for fresh blood. Keeping this trend going into 2023, M3GAN kicked off the year to positive reviews and a successful box office run, so of course a sequel was quickly announced by the Blumhouse boss. The question now is, will Blumhouse deliver on this highly anticipated franchise builder? Well, let's talk about everything we know regarding M3GAN 2.0.
Well, sometimes that is better.
So just like with all franchises, we first have to start with the original. Blumhouse's killer doll flick that came out this past January was made on a $12 million budget and ended up pulling in $181 million worldwide, which is insane. A big criticism of the film is that it's way too similar to Child's Play 2019, but I think the big difference between M3GAN and that film is that it's not already in an existing IP. You can kind of do whatever you want because it's an original movie. My issue with Child's Play 2019 is the origin story for Chucky sucks compared to what we got from the original. You're telling me all these dolls just have some kind of switch that turns them into killers. I just can't get behind that. That's too lazy. The one thing it has over M3GAN though is it definitely has some more brutal kills. I'll give it that. But M3GAN, in my opinion, has a much better vibe, characters, and an overall comedic tone to it that I think just works so much better than that film. Producer Jason Blum said that M3GAN 2.0 is in development, but it's not being rushed. In a quote, he says, "We've got to write a script. I mean, you've got to give us a little bit of time. The creative process suffers when you rush. You pretend you're not making compromises, but you always do. So I wanted to give us enough time to make this movie great." There are so many franchises nowadays that just put back-to-back-to-back sequels out every single year, and I just wonder why. Like, take 2 years. Take a long time on the creative process so we get better sequels, which means more movies. Staying patient is hard, admittedly, but like it always results in a better product. So I'm just glad that they're sitting on this for a little while, letting Akela Cooper write a kick-ass script. On top of the announcement that M3GAN 2.0 will be coming out, we also got the release date, which is going to be another January release, which is kind of odd, January 17th of 2025. This is an odd move, in my opinion, to release the sequel to M3GAN, you know, this big smash hit from earlier in the year, once again in January. That month is usually where studios dump some of their back burner movies that have just been sitting on like a shelf somewhere, and they're like, well, we got this thing, and we have nothing coming out in January, let's just throw that out. But real quickly, I want to compare the M3GAN franchise to the Scream revival we've been going through these past couple of years. Look at Scream 2022. That came out in January of its respective year, and it was a smash hit. After it made a bunch of money at the box office, they decided, hey, let's release the next one in March, more of a primetime slot for a bigger movie like that. Me personally, I just feel like M3GAN 2.0 should release sometime in March or April. That'll probably get it the best coverage, and it'll make the most money. Which, let's be honest, from a studio standpoint, that's why they're making a sequel, because money is good. Now that Blumhouse's Halloween trilogy is over, they're looking to start up new franchises and have even more flagship series very similar to that. I mean, look at what they're doing this October with Five Nights at Freddy's and The Exorcist. I think they should put a little more faith in M3GAN 2.0 and give it a better release slot, personally. Okay, but real quickly now, let's talk about one of my favorite writers making horror movies right now, Akela Cooper. She, of course, wrote the script for M3GAN from earlier this year, but she also wrote Malignant from 2021, a killer James Wan-directed horror flick, and Hellfest from 2018, which is a banging haunted house movie. Not haunted house in the sense of like there's a house that's haunted. I mean like you go to a house and people jump out and go boo. That kind of haunted house, but like one of the slashers is really killing people. If you've seen Hellfest, I'm just mansplaining right now, disregard. But I absolutely love Akela Cooper's writing. I am so excited to see her write the next movie, which thankfully she is confirmed for that, and also The Nun 2 that comes out in like a week. Real quick sidebar, I'm not crazy about the first Nun. In my opinion, it's one of the weakest Conjuring flicks, but I'm actually kind of excited for The Nun 2 because Akela Cooper is writing it. I know some people want to shit on Michael Chaves for directing The Curse of La Llorona and The Conjuring 3, which also are just okay in my opinion. I'm predicting that this may be his best out of those three though. Director Gerard Johnstone is unconfirmed for the sequel as of right now, but he has expressed interest in wanting to do the next film. Although Johnstone is not confirmed to be returning to the director's chair, he has had talks with the studio. In a quote, the filmmaker explains, "I would love to do it. I think there's so much scope. There's a lot of ideas we didn't get to fit into that first movie." Gerard also pitched his idea for the sequel title, which would be The Marvelous Miss M3GAN. Obviously that's a joke, but it's oddly kind of a fitting title considering the style of humor that M3GAN has, which I would say is akin to that of an Adult Swim infomercial.
You can even sweep your old broom away.
It takes a lot to make
Talking about the sequel story and commentary surrounding ChatGPT, the filmmaker says you can have these very involved conversations with a computer. Me and my kid were getting it to help us make a story about a frog samurai, and it would do it, and we'd say, now make it funny, and it would do it. It's just phenomenal. I may not necessarily agree on his take on ChatGPT, but it would be cool to see more AI commentary in the next film, hopefully being negative towards it. We don't take too kindly to no AI around these parts. The world of film ain't big enough for the two of us, ChatGPT. I just turned into a cowboy there for some reason. All right, let's just keep going with this. Hopefully Gerard returns for the next movie though. I really like both of the big films that he's directed, including M3GAN, of course, and Housebound, if you've never seen that. Killer movie with a really interesting twist. So far, the only two confirmed cast members are most of our main players here, like Allison Williams as Gemma and Violet McGraw as Katie. Amy Donald and Jenna Davis, who both played M3GAN in the film, are not confirmed to be back yet. I'm sure we'll get an update on the full cast at some point in the future as we inch closer to 2025. Like I've said too many times in this video probably, I'm a huge fan of the first M3GAN. I really enjoyed the film and I'm super excited to see where the sequel goes. The first movie already set up this film to be a big franchise anyways, with like this C plot. I don't even want to call it a B plot because it's so tiny and insignificant and clearly just setting up a sequel, but we have this character who's working for the big company in the film that sells all of the data about the M3GANs to another company. I feel like that's clearly where we're going in the next film. Hopefully we have some commentary on ChatGPT, maybe even on the writer's strike that's going on right now. I may not be able to say this about every Blumhouse original lately, but M3GAN was a big standout from this year, and it's one of my favorite horror films of 2023. I'm really excited to see what they do in the sequel. Hopefully it's just as fun. What do you guys think about M3GAN 2.0 though? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching this brand new update on M3GAN 2.0. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future. Please consider supporting me on Patreon by clicking on the link in the description of this video. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.